everyone. Welcome to the spring division meeting. We're going to start today with our sustainability expert, Marissa Acosta, and she's going to do a little activity with us about sorting our waste.
Thank you, Shannon. Okay, everyone should have a little stack of paper in the middle of the table, and everyone should get a piece of paper. Once you get your piece of paper, read the item that you have. We're going to be moving around. All of the items will either go to the landfill, recycle, or compost. So take a look at your piece of paper. Everyone should be able to get one. And we're going to get up and move around a little bit. Yeah. Well, you don't have to if you don't want to. Okay, so everyone should have a piece of paper. Okay, if you think your item goes to the landfill, move to this side of the room. If you think your item goes to the recycling, come up here in the middle of the room. And if you think your item goes to the compost, go to that side of the room. So landfill over here, recycle in the middle, and compost on that side of the room. Okay. I hope I'm not wrong. Let's see what you have. Okay, cool. Recycle, yep. Okay, so help others in your group. What do you have?
Paper napkin.
So paper napkin, that would be better in the compost. Okay, because it's paper-based.
It's biodegradable.
Yes, exactly. So anything paper, like a paper napkin, compost. So if you want, you can move that way. Yeah. So, yeah. Recycle. Can you help others or check others? Yeah. Where's the landfill? Landfill is that way. I just know this is recycle. This is recycle.
Because mine are recyclable, but there's different brands.
Okay. So if you're looking at the recycle symbol and this is recycle, then that's what you should do. Okay. You did this on purpose. Yes, recycle. Yes, recycle. Car stock, recycle. Yes. Good job. Okay, cool. The recycling did a really good job. What do we have over here? Compost. This is a lot of compost, as it should be. So everything over here should be paper-based or a food product. So paper plates, paper napkins, any food peels, anything like that. Does anyone have any questions over here? Yes. Yeah. So the question is compost preferred to recycle? Yes, compost is better than recycling. So if it's like a clean cardboard box, that can go in the compost. Yeah. So a pizza box should go to the compost. Any other questions over here? I would recycle it. So if the cardboard box has tape on it and you don't want to deal with that, I would recycle it. Okay. Cool. If you guys are good, you can sit down. Okay. If you guys are good over here, recycling did a good, or what was this one? Recycling? Yeah. You guys did a good job. You can sit down. Okay. This was landfill. What do you guys have? Yep. Yep.
Candy wrapper?
Yep. Good job. You guys can sit down. What did you have?
Ship bag.
Yeah, landfill. Good job. Hey.
Hello.
Good job.
Thank you.
Good job. Good job. Yep. Good job. Good job. Good job. Good job. Yeah, good job. Good job. Okay. Everyone did such a good job. Thank you for participating. So, hopefully everyone knows that compost includes paper plates, paper napkins, the wooden stir sticks, wooden utensils, things like that. All of that is compostable. Recyclable items, pay attention to the recycle symbol. And then landfill, like honey packets, sauce packets, things like that. All of that goes to the landfill. So good job, everyone. Thank you.
Good job. Okay. Okay, let's look at our agenda for today. We already just did our sustainability showdown. I'll do our land acknowledgement next. We'll hear about our new employees, get some remarks from the vice president, and then we have Ranjita joining us today to do a mindfulness session. After that, we will hear from Kevin from Shake Smart, our new restaurant on campus, and then we will do awards and prizes. So let's go ahead and do our land acknowledgement.
Chamoli Vichu, Champiwi Patotamet. We acknowledge that the land on which we gather is the traditional territory of the Luiseño Payom Kachum people. Today, the meeting place of Cal State University San Marcos and its surrounding areas is still home to the 6 federally recognized bands of the Luiseño Payom Kachum people: La Jolla, Pala, Pama, Pachanga, Rincon, and Saboba.
It is also important to recognize that this land remains a shared space among Kupangwichum, Capeño, Kumeyaay, and Ipai peoples.
CSUSM values its long-standing mutually beneficial relationships with the tribal communities in San Diego County, which is home to 18 federally recognized reservations, more than any other county in the United States, and over 30 tribal nations in the region.
Recognizing the land is a profound act of gratitude and respect for the original stewards of these homelands, those who have lived, worked, and thrived here since time immemorial. It is not just a gesture, it is a vital acknowledgement of Indigenous presence and resilience.
By naming the tribal nations and honoring their enduring connection to the land, we create opportunities for learning and reflection, especially for those who may be hearing these names for the first time.
This recognition invites a deeper understanding of the history, culture, and ongoing contributions of Indigenous communities to the lands we share.
I hope you take this opportunity to learn more about the local Indigenous people of this region during your time here. Welcome to CSUSM.
All right, now we are going to introduce our new employees. We don't have quite as many as normal, but if you will please stand up if you're either a new employee or a new employee's manager. If you're not on this list, you can stand up too, and we'll just go around the room and pass everyone around. Since one of my folks is up here, I'll start. I would like to introduce Sofia Espinoza. She, woohoo! I don't know where she is, but she is not new to our division. She used to work in UPD, but she now works in accounts payable and travel with us as our accounts payable and travel analyst. So we're really excited to have her here. I'm gonna go to our next person. I'll start with Jason.
Thank you. I have the pleasure of introducing Arendi Gomez. Arendi is our new student housing accounts specialist. A fun fact about Arendi, she is a huge reading of novels aficionado, and she can read a book in what, a day?
More or less.
More or less a day. So.
I'd like to welcome Jacob Zanatel. He comes to us from Colorado, I think newly to California, and he is an avid hiker and CrossFit enthusiast. So welcome, Jacob.
Thank you. Yeah, I'd like to take this opportunity in order to introduce Sabrina Genera. She is our she's a new full-time dispatcher, and as everybody knows, it's very hard to get dispatchers, so we're very happy to have her. Interesting fact about her, she loves to travel. Her future goal is to get to Italy someday. And she has a 6-year-old son, and she is a former employee of San Diego Sheriff's Department as a correctional officer. So, yeah. Our group would also like to recognize, yes, we're going to do this, Crystal. Crystal Davis, although she was with us in PAX for a little while and left for a short period of time, but we are welcoming her with arms wide open. She's came back to UPD. Crystal Davis is our assistant to the chief of police. So thank you.
Good morning. I have the pleasure of introducing Shannon Stern. Shannon is our new university controller, and she joined us about 5 months ago, but she's already started making significant contributions to our campus. She came from higher education, but more for-profit higher education, so this is something that she feels it's very connected to what she would like to do. Fun fact about Shannon, she's a proud graduate of our campus. So she graduated back in 2003, I think, and full circle, she's back in helping other students graduate. Welcome, Shannon.
Lindsay, do you want to introduce JD? I don't think he's here, but.
He's not here, but I'll introduce him. Okay. JD isn't here, but he's our new public works analyst. And a fun fact about him is that he has a twin.
Oh. Okay, is there anyone else after Mitch? Okay. Here I come 10 minutes later.
Take your time. Good morning, everybody. I have the pleasure of introducing Fernando Camacho. He's our second shift BSc. He comes from W.R. Robbins, and he's a sheet metal journeyman. So he brings a lot of knowledge for HVAC for our campus. So we're happy to have him. There's a couple things that he likes to fish and surf and that kind of thing. So if you get to see him, say hi.
Thanks so much. Anyone else? Okay. All right. If you have any questions, please feel free to send them to Amber Giacalone on Teams, and I'll get them from her. All right, VP Wyden, you're up next.
Whoa. Good morning, everyone. You know, I'm using my iPad today, so you guys have to bear with me. I'm kind of a paper person, and I generally use paper. So today I'm working from my iPad trying to improve my technology skills as John Humes directed. So thank you, John. So good morning again, everyone. You know, I like to look at this room when I come in. You know, it's not often that we get the chance to be together all in one space. So thank you all for joining me here today and the online colleagues who are joining us today. So before we start, you know, I'd like to give a big thank you to the MPS team for helping us stream this to our remote colleagues. Thank you for keeping us all connected. So, you know, as I was walking over here today, you know, I took a moment just to look around our campus. You know, I saw our grounds look pristine. I saw students heading to class and labs. And I thought about the massive coordinated effort happening behind the scenes at this very second, from the infrastructure keeping our campus running and safety measures protecting our community, to the digital and financial transactions and personnel support that make every part of our mission possible. In the day-to-day hustle, you know, it's easy for us just to managing our tasks and fixing problems. But look around this room. You know, you guys are the heartbeat and the foundation of this university. Your work creates an environment where our students' lives are changed. You know, I just don't see a division when I look out at this group. You know, I see a team that shows up every day and makes the effort to create so many amazing things for our students. You know, so I'm incredibly grateful just to be in the trenches with you guys. and I'm excited to share some amazing things you've accomplished lately. We have a lot of wins to cover, so let's dive in. I want to start with a huge milestone for our HR and payroll teams. With the help of all of you and the entire campus, HR, payroll, and IITS helped us land at Destination CHRS. We started last Wednesday. The flight to CHRS took off in October, and we finally landed. There was some turbulence along the way and quite a few bumps, and there will continue to be some bumps as we go forward, but we'll get our balance and we'll land on solid ground. So thank you for joining the trainings, being patient with each other, and sticking with us through this transition. And while we talk about HR, I want to highlight a new partnership that they've created. Last year, HR and Payroll partnered with TrueConfirm for employment verification. Not only does this streamline our work, but TrueConfirm actually returns a portion of their fees to the university. Since July 2025, this has created a brand new funding source that we are reinvesting directly in our students. The first recipient of these funds is going to be the library's textbook affordability program. We are literally turning administrative tasks into more affordable education for our students. That's a massive win. So speaking of massive wins, our sustainability team, in collaboration with FDM, secured a Cal Recycle grant worth over $267,000. We are reaching our goal of having filtered and chilled water refill stations on every floor of every building. If you hear drilling, that's the sound of progress. They're being installed as we speak. We are also launching a new sustainability and climate action plan, a massive all-hands effort involving sustainability, FDM, UPD, and procurement, and many others. As part of the President signing the Climate Leadership Commitment, this plan will guide the campus in reaching system-wide and state policies. Plus, a shout out to safety, health, and sustainability for the new Green Labs program. Students can now borrow lab coats just like library books. It's clever, sustainable, and supports student success. Our commitment to sustainability and student success also earned major regional recognition this past September. Parking and Commuter Services was honored with the Platinum Tier Award from SANDAG for excellence in our commuter programs. By championing initiatives like ride-sharing, carpooling, and discounted public transportation passes, the team is making it easier and more affordable for our community to get to campus while reducing our collective carbon footprint. We have taken significant strides in campus safety and preparedness recently, driven by the hands-on effort of our emergency management team. Over the last few months, emergency management led us through a rigorous series of wildland fire exercises, moving from tabletop discussions to full-scale field deployments with external agencies. This has significantly sharpened our resilience and coordination for future wildlife events. Simultaneously, we are deepening our culture of care with the acquisition of a dedicated crisis response vehicle. This resource is about more than just transportation. It's about dignity, confidentiality. It allows our team to provide private, compassionate support for students in crisis, ensuring that they will get the care they need while reducing the stigma around mental health. Whether responding to a physical emergency or mental health crisis, our UPD colleagues ensure that every member of our community is protected and supported. Our business and financial services team has been running a marathon, completing tax reporting, financial statements, all while prepping for the fiscal year-end close. I'm particularly proud of the new automated billing updates for students in campus housing. It gives our students a much clearer balance or refund information that reflects anticipated financial aid. This eliminates guesswork and allows them to plan their finances with confidence. I would like to give a huge shout out to accounts payable, travel, and financial systems operations. We are officially live with Concur optimization. To our corp employees, get ready, you go live in just a few days. This project advances CSU's system-wide efforts to strengthen operational efficiency and shared services, which are key priorities for the CSU strategic plan. The enhancement enables all business units to operate in Concur and introduces new features such as hospitality, direct pay, and card reconciliation. Along with this, our ProCard team is now under the name Card Services, aligning perfectly with our new Universal Card rollout, which combines ProCards, Corp ProCards, and travel cards into one. And our FDM team walk around campus to see your fingerprints everywhere. Black Oak Hall, Kawilla Dining, Hunter Hall, these major projects are on schedule and on budget. I'm also incredibly proud to announce that CSUSM UVHD team earned the Q4 2025 CEO Safety Leadership Award. This honor recognizes their all-in commitment to a culture of safety is never an afterthought. And I do have to go off script just for a bit to say a little something about that, because that was actually incredible. You know, they built that structure, 550 beds, with 0 injuries. 0. No one was hurt in the entire time. That's an incredible accomplishment, and it's one of the few times that has actually happened, you know, in most facilities of that size. So I thought that was absolutely incredible. So by embracing innovative tech and industry-leading practices, we move beyond, you know, mere compliance to true ownership. You know, our building opens in this coming fall. So this coming fall, we will have an additional 550 students resident on our campus. And that's going to be a journey in and of itself. So I also want to give special kudos to the custodial team. After the HVAC project, they completed a full post-construction turnover of the administration building in just 5 days. You know, that's an incredible feat for teamwork. You know, beyond the surface, our trades and energy teams have significantly bolstered our infrastructure, cutting rain leaks by 50%, establishing the palm court slopes, and upgrading our mechanical systems to high-efficiency platforms. Whether it's removing trip hazards and securing processing over 9,000 pounds of archival records through the SHRED program, this division cross-shop collaboration ensures that CSUSM remains safe, reliable, and sustainable for every student and staff member. Our corporation team has been busy turning our shared vision of a wellness center and rec center into reality right before our eyes. Just 18 months ago, our students took a bold step forward by passing the fee referendum, and today that commitment is reaching new heights. If you glance across Barham, you'll see that the 5th story of what we're calling now Discovery Hall beginning to emerge from the skyline, the tangible symbol of our growth, dedication to student experience. Once complete, this impressive 11-story landmark will not only house our state-of-the-art wellness center, but will also become the vibrant home for 926 first-year residential students. We're on track for topping off festivities for that building in the summer of 2027. Topping off in 2026. It will open in the summer of 2027. So that'll be another residence hall that we have available for our students. You know, I couldn't be prouder of the momentum that we built together as we pave for this transformative new chapter of campus life. In our digital space, the IITS team has shown incredible coordination to strengthen our commitment to a secure campus. By expanding the Axon integration of our police, they have bolstered our public safety infrastructure and digital evidence capabilities. Looking ahead, their teams are preparing for a major summer application server upgrade, impacting over 20 core systems while deploying the new Dynamics Contact Center. By leveraging CRM data and AI, they are personalizing how we support students via text, chat, voice, ensuring that departments like the registrar and the financial services can meet our students exactly where they are. And now I want to give you some good news regarding our long-term fiscal health. We are moving forward with a student fee increase of $246 per semester beginning in 26-27 academic year. While CSUSM has proudly held these fees flat for over a decade, this adjustment is necessary to address the growing structural deficits and ensure continued excellence of essential services, from health and counseling to University Student Union and commencement. This decision was not made lightly. It was shaped by an extensive and inclusive consultation process with direct input from our students and the Student Fee Advisory Committee. More importantly, we remain deeply committed to affordability. We estimate that financial aid will cover this increase for nearly all students, with only about 100 students expected to see any out-of-pocket unpaid. We are successfully stabilizing our university's fiscal future without compromising student affordability. So before I wrap up, I want to take a moment to highlight something that is truly special about our division, our annual Holiday Giving Challenge. This year, our group went above and beyond, and I think it's worth sharing. When we look back at this year's Holiday Giving Challenge, we aren't just looking at a list of donations. We're looking at people that refuse to just stand by. From the literal soil of the Terry Campus of Life, where integrated risk management and safety, health, and sustainability rolled up their sleeves to till the earth, to the 70 student angels who, sponsored by OHR, in a record-breaking 3 hours, you showed up with a level of intentionality that is nothing short of inspiring. Whether it was business and financial services bringing joy to 34 wagging tails at the Humane Society, or procurement providing hundreds of meals and helping dogs like Bombay find their forever homes, you prove that our mission of service has no boundaries. What makes me most proud is how you chose to provide not just the basics, things that make life beautiful. Because of FDM's celebration kits, food insecurity didn't stand in the way of a student milestone. Because the corporation's welcome home kits, families walked into a new life feeling truly cared for. From our UPD's warm blankets for seniors and toys for children, to the handcrafted cards from the Office of Sponsored Projects, you have woven a safety net of compassion across the entire region. This isn't just a challenge we completed. It's a culture that we've built together. I know I've covered a lot, but I wanted to make sure that you know, your work matters. You're the reason this university functions at all. Like I said, you guys are the foundation. You're the reason our students feel supported. So I'm incredibly proud to lead this division and so excited for the rest of what 2026 holds. So thank you guys for your hard work, all-in attitude, and for everything you do for CSUSM. Go Cougars! Shannon, back to you.
All right, we're going to turn it over to Dr. Ranjita Basu for a mindfulness session today.
Good morning. Okay, let's try that one more time. Good morning. Okay, thank you. My name is Ranjita Basu, and I am a professor of economics, but, thank you. A professor of economics, but also here today as faculty director of the Center for Contemplative Practices, the only center of its kind in the CSU. And thank you. We are now in our 4th year of operation, and so I'm here today. Thank you so much for inviting me. As your vice president just stated, you really are the foundation of this university, and I am so glad to be here with you today. So as the slide says, I was going to talk to you a little bit about mindfulness for professional success and overall well-being. And maybe also do a couple of practices. Does that sound good? Yeah? Okay, wonderful. So I'm trying to see how do I... Okay, let's see. I'm trying to figure out, how does it fall? Oh, is that what this? I think so. Yeah, so just click this one. Okay, thank you. So I'm going to start by asking you to complete the following sentence with the very first word that comes to your mind. So don't overthink it. At work, I want to be. And yes, feel free to shout it out or share it with your, people at your table, however you want to do this. Happy, I heard happy. Okay, so I heard effective, positive, happy. Anything else? Competent, okay. Okay, so the reason I had us do this is because this is actually from this book that's called Fearless at Work. And I was going to tie it into mindfulness and why this is important. So of course, I'm going to start with a very basic philosophical question. What is the nature of life? And the first fact of our lives is that none of us have unlimited time, right? And so if we're lucky and we live to be about 80 years old, then we have about 4,000 weeks. I'm turning 60 this year, so I've already used up 3,000 of my 4,000 weeks. I have about 1,000 weeks to go, right, if I'm lucky. So I say this not to make us feel, scared or uncertain or anything like that. It's just a fact of life, which means that we need to savor and make the most of the time that we have. It also means we can't do everything. And so I think that sometimes we can get very stressed or overwhelmed because we put too much pressure on ourselves to do everything, to be like superhuman, right? But the fact is we have to prioritize. We have to say, if I have only this much time, then how am I going to best use that time so that at work I can be however you filled out that sentence. And so really thinking about the fact that if this is how much time I have, how do I want to use that time? How do I want to make the best of that time, right? So I just wanted to kind of place that there because just so that we can prioritize and not put so much pressure on ourselves to do everything. I want to do this and I want to do that and I want to do the other, but this is the amount of time that I have. Secondly, life is inherently uncertain. It has always been that way, and it will always be that way, right? We literally don't know what the next moment will bring. And yes, there are some things that we can expect. There are some routines, some sorts of things. But for the most part, life is uncertain, and it definitely feels like it's become more so. And with that uncertainty comes a certain degree of stress again, or worry about, what will the future bring. And what I wanted to offer is that mindfulness can help us with that uncertainty by approaching life with curiosity and wonder versus fear. So when you think about, okay, I don't know what the next semester will bring, the next month will bring, the next day will bring, I can either approach it with, oh, this could be worrying, and approach it with fear, or I can approach it with curiosity. Like, oh, I wonder what this next moment will bring. And that's part of what mindfulness helps us do, is to turn our fear into wonder or curiosity. And of course, being a university of, an institution of higher learning, this is what we encourage our students to do. We encourage them to learn, which means that we need to also adopt that same approach to life, that uncertainty is not about fear, it's about learning and being curious and approaching life with wonder. So that is another aspect of what mindfulness helps us do, is to turn that fear into curiosity and learning. And then finally, life is painful, but also unbelievably beautiful, and sometimes all in the same moment. Right? And that is part of what our human condition brings us. We were never, ever promised a perfect life. None of us were, which means there are going to be ups and downs. There are going to be painful moments, and there are also going to be unbelievably beautiful moments. So what mindfulness helps us do is to give us the resources, the capacity to deal with those difficult times, but also taking that time to appreciate what is beautiful and what is kind and what is lovely about the people we work with about ourselves, about our students, and so forth. And so being able to balance those, being able to balance the ups with the downs, being able to see sort of what's going on, the moments that are difficult with the moments that are beautiful, and being able to balance those. In general, as human beings, we do have a negativity bias, which means that that's what research has shown us, is that we tend to focus on what didn't go well because that helps us survive. And so we learn from that and do better, right? But as a result of that, we might also miss all of those beautiful, joyful moments. So that is what mindfulness is helping us do, is to be in that moment and appreciate those, all the positive. So that at the end of the day, when we go to bed, we're like, you know what? Our day was beautiful, it was painful, it was difficult, it was fun. It was all those things, right? And not just the negative part. So it helps us kind of develop a more positive attitude. Now, what's really important here is our inner resources. And so, of course, the outer resources are also very important, and this division, more than any division, knows that, how important that is. And so I don't want to downplay that, but it also depends on our inner resources. And so I'm just going to read this out. This is by Michael Carroll, Fearless at Work. If you haven't read this book, it's a really great book. And it talks about this, at work, how do I want to be? And he says that if he can sum up, and he's done sort of research and he's asked many people this question, and ultimately he distills it down to, may I have the confidence that whatever work offers up, success or failure, happiness or disappointment, recognition or indifference, I can unshakably rely on myself to be self-assured, resourceful, and at ease. Right? And so if we have that inner capacity, then whatever life might bring our way, we are able to approach it with joy, with curiosity, and know that we can deal with it, and also know that we don't have to do it alone, that we're going to do it together. So you don't have to single-handedly handle everything in your life, that there are people around you that can support you and that can help you. So I'm going to talk the rest of my time about what these inner resources can be and how we might develop them. So, do you want to start with a practice? Yeah? Okay. So, I'm going to ask you to get into a comfortable sitting position. So just taking a moment to notice your posture. Notice if you are comfortable, if there's any part of you that's uncomfortable, you can choose to move or stretch. Yeah, or shake your shoulders or whatever you need to do to make yourself, yes, put your feet up, whatever you need to do to be comfortable. Okay, and then I'm going to start by just taking a moment to look around the room and just noticing the space that we are in. Maybe noticing any shapes that you see, maybe rectangles, maybe squares, circles, any colors that you see. And then taking a moment to look around and see the human beings that are in the room. Taking a moment to acknowledge each other's humanity, these beautiful human beings that you are fortunate enough to work with. And then I invite you to either close your eyes or lower your gaze so that you're not looking at anything in particular, just resting your eyes. And let's start by taking a few deep cleansing breaths where you fill your lungs up with air and then let it out. And let's repeat this a few more times. And with each out breath, feel your shoulders dropping, your muscles softening as you settle into that chair, knowing that the chair will hold you and you can let go. That you can let go of your to-do lists, your worries, letting those just slide off your shoulders. And for the next few moments, you don't have to be anywhere, do anything. All you have to do is breathe. As you allow your breathing to resume its normal rhythm. Just one breath at a time. Don't get ahead of yourself. Just stay right here, this moment. Bringing attention to your entire body as you sit here at this time on this day, breathing in and breathing out, feeling the gentle rise and fall of your body. And then expanding your attention to include each other as we spend this time together, knowing that we are not alone, that we are all connected. And taking a moment to wish each other well. And then whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and move or stretch any part of you that needs to be moved or stretched. And opening your eyes when you're ready. Welcome. Welcome to the present moment. So the reason that we do these practices is because the research has shown us that when you're able to just take a few minutes and just breathe, or bring attention to any part of your body, then you're right here in the present moment. Our bodies are always in the present moment. Our minds are not. And so that's why when you bring attention to your breathing or to your body in any way, you're right into the present moment. And when we are in the present moment, we are much more present for our lives as they are unfolding. But we are also less stressed because we are not in the future worrying about what's going to happen, or we are not in the past thinking about what could have happened. We are right here in this moment. And so, if nothing else, a takeaway from this session is that at any time when you're feeling overwhelmed, or you're feeling like there's a lot on your plate, right, or you just need a little break, then just taking a moment, it could be a minute, 2 minutes, and just saying, I'm just going to sit here and just breathe and just bring attention to my breathing. That alone has all kinds of health benefits, not to mention it helps you focus better, it makes you be more present, you're more connected, all of those things. So that's my one practice, if nothing else, right? I'm going to also talk about some other things, but if nothing else, if you can just hold on to that, that can have a huge impact. So I talked about uncertainty and how we can see this as a source of learning. So if we can greet uncertainty with curiosity rather than fear, this goes a long way towards helping us deal with our lives, but also helps us find joy and find what we can do about this, right? And so if we see it as an opportunity to explore new possibilities, to learn, to grow, then there is something positive about feeling that. And when we are able to change our mindset, then we are automatically in a I can do mode versus, oh, this is getting the better of me mode. And so when we are able to see, okay, what can I do in this situation? But to do that, you need access to your prefrontal cortex. So whenever we are stressed, whenever we feel overwhelmed, what happens is our limbic brains take over. And that brain, your amygdala gets activated, and that part of your brain is all about fight, flight, freeze, right? It's all about doing that, which of course, you do need that. So if there is a bus coming towards you, then of course you're not going to be like, let me meditate. You're going to get out of the way, right, immediately. So of course, if you're in danger, you need to act immediately. Most of the time, though, we are not in danger, but we think we are. And therefore, we are always on this high alert, and which means that we are operating, we're not really getting access to our prefrontal cortex. Our prefrontal cortex, on the other hand, is where our imagination lies, our creativity, our ability to problem solve, be able to feel compassion, all of these things. And so therefore, the mindfulness, the breathing, helps us deactivate the amygdala and helps us have more access to our prefrontal cortex, in which means we are more able to figure things out. We're able to see more options, right? And so that's part of the reason that we do this. And to develop resiliency and creativity. And so when you're feeling like, oh, there isn't any other way here, or, you know, there's, oh, yet another change coming our way, and I know I've been in this university 32 years, that there's always something new coming down. There's always some new change that we're doing, right? And so sometimes you can approach that with, there you go, yet one more change, right? Or, and I know this is tough to do, and I you know, this is where the practice is helpful. You can say, oh, I wonder what this new change is going to teach me. What can I learn from it? Is this an opportunity to grow, right? And just because I'm almost 60 doesn't mean I can't grow, and I can't learn, and I can't do new things. And so this idea of looking at change not as something to resist or fear, but as something that can be an opportunity to grow. That doesn't mean that all change is necessarily good. That's not what I'm saying. It's just saying that how are we approaching it, with fear or with curiosity. And then to also connect and appreciate our interdependence. And so this is really, really important because none of us are doing anything alone. And so when we approach our lives, being able to see this as an opportunity to connect with each other, to recognize our interdependence, and that is so true at this university, right? That if you didn't do your job, then I couldn't do my job, and if I didn't do my job, then somebody else couldn't do theirs. All of us are connected, and all of us are doing that role that allows the whole, all of us, to be able to do what we do. And so recognizing that and valuing that so that we can help each other through those times of change. And so I'm going to ask you to take a moment, this is where you get to talk to each other, to reflect on the joys and challenges of your job. What does a good day on the job look like? What does a challenging day look like? And then thinking about what can I learn from the challenging days and how can I savor the good days? So I'm thinking you're already at tables, so I'm going to ask you to maybe get into your table groups and maybe just take a moment, maybe a minute each, to just go around and share what this looks like for you. And I'm going to give you about like maybe 5-6 minutes. I know, not a whole lot of time, but a little bit of time for you to be able to discuss this. And then we'll share back. Oh, before I forget, we are also practicing mindful listening when we're doing this. And mindful listening is when somebody else is speaking, you're going to listen with full attention. Okay, go. Okay, let's take 30 more seconds. Okay, so I'm going to ask us to come back to the group, the full group. So part of this, this activity or this sharing is to remind us of what are some of the joys and some of the challenges, and being able to see the challenges as what can I learn from this, and then seeing the joys as being, I need to stop and fully savor this, because this might not happen again for a while, so I'm just going to be fully in it and enjoy it, you know, and that also spurs us on to do the work that we need to do. And so keeping that in mind, and of course, as I mentioned before, the mindful listening is a really, really good habit too, and the mindful sharing. And so if something's going on in your life or there's something that you're going through, then being able to share it with each other, having at least one other person or hopefully more that you can talk to about what's going on, is also a wonderful way to relieve that and also able to see that you're not carrying this alone. And so taking that moment in the day, maybe once in the day, where you can practice maybe a minute of mindful listening. Apparently, the research shows us that this is very good for us and very good for our relationships. And by mindful listening, it means you're just giving this person your full, undivided attention. You're not on your phone, you're not doing many other things, you're just simply listening to this person without judgment and wishing them well. If you can do that for a minute, at least, maybe more, but a minute each day with somebody in your life. It could be somebody in your office, it could be somebody, you know, in your personal life. Just offering them that one moment of listening can be a game changer. Like I said, not just for your relationships, but also for yourself. Because when we do that, we're able to connect and create those social bonds. And then, just in case you thought mindfulness was just about sitting quietly, you know, closing your eyes, it's not. It's also about movement. So, I thought that, hold on, don't put that on yet. I'm going to ask us to stand up if you can. And we're going to do a mindful movement practice. And if this is not a good moment for you to stand, that is totally fine too. But if it is a good moment, please go ahead and stand, and I invite you to find a partner. You're going to do this in a pairwise. So go ahead and look around and find a partner. Okay, do you each have a partner? Yeah? Okay, so we are going to do this in silence. We are going to do this quietly. So I'm going to ask you to hold your hands in front of you just like this. And then one of you is going to start moving your hands, and the other person is going to be a mirror. And they're just simply going to mirror you. They're going to do whatever you're doing. And then I will tell you to switch, and you'll switch. The person who was following was mirroring will lead, and the person who was leading will mirror. Does that make sense? So you're just going to move your hands around. Yeah. So go ahead and decide who's going to go first. And you're going to do this with music. So you can turn the music on. Okay, can I have the music? Okay. I think I hear it. No? Okay, you can just play any other music. Go ahead. Okay, there we go. And you can turn up the music a little bit. Okay, go ahead and switch. Okay, let's take a pause. Stay in your pairings. Let's take a pause and let's turn the music off. Okay, I'm going to ask you to stay in your pairings, and we're just going to close with a loving kindness practice, one of the best practices of mindfulness. So go ahead and stay in your pairings, and I'm going to ask you to just look at this person who is in front of you, acknowledging their humanity. And then I'm going to ask you to close your eyes and bring up a mental image of this person in your mind. So go ahead, close your eyes and just bring up a mental image of this person, knowing that this person in front of you has probably experienced great joy in their life, just like you have. That this person in front of you has probably experienced sorrow and loss. That this person in front of you has hopes and dreams, just like you do. That this person has probably been disappointed. That this person in front of you has made mistakes, just like you have. But they're trying to do the best that they can. And making the following wishes for this person, if it feels right to you, silently. I wish that you are happy. I wish that you are safe. I wish that you are healthy. I wish that you are loved and supported and accepted just as you are. And opening our hearts and receiving these wishes from each other, knowing that we all, without exception, deserve to be happy and safe and healthy and loved and accepted just as we are. And then whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and open your eyes and thank your partner if you wish. And you can take a seat. So I'm going to close with these words from Maya Angelou. My mission in life is not merely to survive, but to thrive, and to do so with some passion. It's really important to find what's important to you, what is your passion. Some compassion, some kindness. And I loved those slides, Leon, when you were talking about all the beautiful work that you all did. That's wonderful. So some compassion, some humor. You got to have humor, right? Life is just too crazy without it. So you got to find those moments when you just have to laugh. And some style. You always got to do it with style, right? Am I right? Okay, well, take care and be well.
Thanks so much, Ranjita. I feel so relaxed and connected. So for our next presentation, I want to welcome Kevin Galfond, and I'm going to read a little intro. Today, we're excited to welcome Kevin Galfond, a San Diego State alum and co-founder and CEO of ShakeSmart. Before graduating in 2011 with a degree in management, Kevin founded ShakeSmart while he was still a student at SDSU. What started as an entrepreneurial college brainstorm has grown into a nationwide brand with 57 locations on college campuses and military bases across the country and a team of over 1,000 employees. Kevin has been recognized as a rising star in Forbes 30 Under 30, and he continues to stay involved at SDSU through mentoring at the Lavin Entrepreneurship Center. 2 months ago, on February 2nd, ShakeSmart was launched on the CSUSM campus. Many of you heard about or experienced Free Shake Day on February 10th. It was a tremendous success with more than 1,200 shakes given away that day. We're hoping that translates to 1,200 new believers and counting. As Kevin and our dining services team imagined, ShakeSmart at CSUSM is well on its way to becoming wildly successful. Now I'm going to give it over to Kevin. Thank you.
I don't even need to do a presentation now. Thank you all for hearing a little bit more about the brand. Make sure this slide works. Cool. So what is ShakeSmart for those of you who aren't familiar with the new concept that just opened on campus here? We specialize in fresh protein shakes, healthy on-the-go foods, acai bowls, pour over, cold brew, green tea matcha, and other things that are built for the active on-the-go lifestyle. We're very focused on having options for all dietary restrictions, whether you're gluten-free, vegan, vegetarian, lactose-free, or people who have specific taste preferences or goals. And from a business model standpoint, we're very unique in that we don't need hoods. Our build-out costs are extremely low. We don't have any super fancy equipment like a barista machine that's going to cost $25,000. And so we can operate in very small footprints. And then from a growth standpoint, we are focused predominantly on college campuses across the country. So a little bit of history about the brand. I was a student, as mentioned, at San Diego State University. I was a business major with an emphasis in entrepreneurship. And I was very passionate about trying to start a business one day. And so I went through, it looks all beautiful and amazing now today, but there was a lot of trials and tribulations that got us to this point. And I always like to share the horror stories versus the good stories. So, when I was 19 years old, I wanted to start my first ever business. And this is before Uber or Uber Eats or all these things. And I had the idea to start an alcohol delivery service so that people won't drink and drive to go pick up their alcohol. We'll just bring it to you so we could keep people safe. So I wrote a business plan. I was ready to launch it. And then I realized in order to pilot an alcohol delivery service, I have to be able to buy the alcohol myself, which I was 19 years old. And so that idea failed very quickly. And so then I was on to my next idea, and I learned from that one. And I wanted, again, before Uber, I wanted to start a hybrid taxi service so that instead of using gas-guzzling vehicles, it would be more eco-friendly, it would be more cost-effective for people who are going to try and get a taxi. I needed to raise $15 million to launch this, and I was 20 years old, and I couldn't even get $15,000 from anybody, and so that idea failed very quickly, and I'm glad it did because Uber would have crushed me about 3 years later. And then I was on to my third idea, and I was starting to feel a little beat up at this point, and I still think this idea is great, so if anybody wants to run with it, it's all you. I'll give you the deck. But the idea was called SoCal Premier Entertainment, and what I wanted to do was get all 4 of the major sports in Southern California, so the LA Kings, LA Lakers, Dodgers and Chargers to give us this group buying power where we could buy mass quantities of tickets, and then you would package it up and you would give it to someone who's passionate about sports as a discounted thing so that you could go to one sporting event every season throughout the years. You go to one Laker game, one Dodger game, one Charger game, one Kings game. And that idea actually went pretty far. I got all the different major sporting teams on board with it, except for the Lakers, and it didn't feel right without the Lake Show. And so that idea eventually failed, and what I learned from that one is that while you're always going to be dependent on other people to start a business or other companies, you need to be able to diversify and have alternative options, because if you're solely focused on one company to succeed, you will eventually fail from that. And so that was a big learning lesson for me. And so I was definitely beat up at this point. I had 3 failed ventures, but I still kept going to entrepreneur seminars and hearing people speak about their entrepreneurial journey. And eventually, a gentleman was speaking, and he said something to me that really resonated, and he said to have eyes like a tourist. And what this means is if you go to another country, you look at things from a different lens. You know, why do they not refrigerate their eggs? Or why do they drive on the right side versus the left side? But when we go in our day-to-day lives, we put our head down in our phones, we walk and stare at our feet, we go through the motions of every day. And if you shift this mentality and have eyes like a tourist in your day-to-day life, you will find a problem and you can address that problem with a business. And so every day from that day forward, I'm like looking, my girlfriend at the time was like, you have these big eyes, what are you doing over there? I was like, I got eyes like a tourist, I got to figure something out here. And I had shortly thereafter moved over from San Diego State University to Pacific Beach, but I still wanted to use the Aztec Recreation Center because it's a great facility. And so it was on the first day that I finished my workout at the Arc, got in my car, drove home, and I made a protein shake that I realized it was outside the optimal window that you should be consuming the necessary nutrition after workout. And so this was my aha moment. This was my eyes like a tourist moment. And so I thought, if I have this problem, other people have this problem too. And so ultimately the idea was to merge the blended drink industry, you know, your typical Jamba Juice, Smoothie Kings of the world, and blend that with the innovative benefits of the nutrition industry, focusing specifically on protein and protein shakes. And so I wrote a business plan. I pulled an all-nighter. I was super excited about it. I was like, this is my idea. And then I went into the Entrepreneur Center office the next day at San Diego State. And he will admit to this day, the entrepreneurship director, I went in and I pitched him. I was like, I want to create this protein shake concept. I want to put it outside the Arc at San Diego State. And he was like, Kevin, you're like a fly. And sooner or later, someone's just going to swat you and kill you. This idea is never going to work. And I was like, that's really motivating to come from the entrepreneur director. But he's like, but I'll help you. I was like, okay, great. So he ended up getting me a meeting with the director of Aztec Shops, which is who runs commercial services at San Diego State. And the night before my meeting with that individual, I was thinking about it, and I was like, man, people probably come into his office every single day with the best idea, and you know, everyone thinks this is going to make the university a ton of money. Like, how am I going to stand out? How am I going to be memorable? You know, people go in for resumes, and they all have great GPAs, and they all have great resumes, but how are you going to stand out from the 100 other applicants? And so I was digging into the Aztec Shops website, and I eventually came across their core values. And I looked through their core values, and I was like, wait, we check every single one of these boxes perfectly for what Aztec Shops' core values are. And so I went to FedEx that morning, and I printed out a big poster board of their core values and how Shake Smart and this idea would align perfectly with what Aztec Shops was trying to achieve. I walked into that person's office. He looked at me. He's like, why is a student pitching me on a campus idea right now? And I pulled out the poster board, and I went through the core values as the first part of my presentation. And you could see this shift in his mindset of, hey, when's this meeting going to be over, to wait, I want to actually help this person, you know, create this thing on campus. And so the last step for me to get an approval on campus was I need to go in front of the AS board. That's the student body of the university. And a lot of people don't actually know this story, but I go in and I pitch the executive council on this idea for Shake Smart and how we're going to provide jobs for students and make money for the university and healthy food and all this stuff. And then I leave, and they get to like talk through if they want to do it, and they vote on it. And one of the executive members of AS said, why don't we just take this idea and do it ourselves and make it an AS thing? And it created a huge rift in AS because their whole model should be to inspire students, and they were going to sit there and rip off one of their students. And he ended up getting removed from AS the next day, and they unanimously voted to vote Shake Smart on campus. And so we got all the approvals we needed, and now we need to develop a menu because we had an idea, but we didn't have recipes. And so I got a bunch of my friends together, different protein powders, different frozen fruits, milks, a little sidebar. My business partner is lactose intolerant, and oat milk and almond milk wasn't prevalent 15 years ago. It was cow's milk. And so I told him, I was like, look, man, you're going to need to just suck it up, and we're going to drink some cow's milk today. And so we probably consumed about 350 grams of protein. He probably had a gallon of milk himself, and he was curled up in a ball by the end of the day. But we found 15 solid recipes, and 12 of them are still on the menu today, which is pretty crazy to see. So we had the menu, we had the approvals, and now we needed to find money. Thought it was the best idea ever. Everyone's going to try and hand me money if I asked for it, but that was the farthest thing from the truth. No one would give us money. We went to commercial banks, and we needed to have 2 years in business. We went to family and friends, and they say they want to help you until they actually have to pull out their checkbooks. I went to my grandma, and she gave me $10,000 from a home equity line, but I still needed $40,000 more. I can tell this story now because I think I've exceeded the statute of limitations, but we took out a student loan to be able to fund the first ever Shake Smart. And that, sometimes you got to get scrappy and get creative, and that's how we were able to launch the first ever Shake Smart at SDSU. So on January 3rd, 2011, after a lot of obstacles, we opened the first ever business at SDSU, and we were off and running at that point. The first couple years of the business, we wanted to test different models. We were young, we didn't have families yet, we could take risks, and so we opened up at Camp Pendleton on the military base. We opened up in a traditional gym inside an LA Fitness in Oceanside, and then we opened up in the UTC Mall in Westfield. All of them did kind of well, but it became clear to me that we were born in universities and we wanted to be raised in universities, and so I really tried to focus on getting a second campus to believe in us, and Cal State University Northridge allowed us to convert an old ticket box office to Shake Smart, and so we opened our second ever Shake Smart on a campus at Cal State University Northridge. And I was a little nervous, was I successful at San Diego State because it was my alma mater, or was this actually something that students would resonate with? And by day 3, when we had a line wrapped around the whole school for Shake Smart, it became clear that universities was our growth strategy. And so from that day forward, we ended up closing the LA Fitness, we closed the mall, we still have the Camp Pendleton one, but we put all of our energy and effort towards university growth. And that's something I'm a firm believer in. You have to focus on one thing and do it exceptionally well. And so we were going to focus on universities and do it exceptionally well. And you fast forward 10 years, we'll have over 60 locations by this fall across the country. We're in 22 states. Really proud to say we're at 5 Cal State University campuses, and we serve over 1 million happy students every single year, which is something I pinch myself still today to see what we've done. I have a very large, I have a lot of pride for the student commitment that we can make too. In the classroom, you can learn so many things, but there's tons of things, as you all know, that you can learn outside the classroom. And because we hire for our corporate stores exclusively student employees, we have a unique opportunity to empower the students and leaders of tomorrow. And we take that with a lot of honor, and we try and do a lot of things to really bring that to life. Some of them, we do a student chief marketing officer program where we choose one chief marketing officer at every campus, and they go through a 16-week program on just how to do marketing for a business. We have a launch team program, so when we open new stores in different states, our best employees get to fly there and launch a store for 2 weeks and really see what it's like. And that was a fun battle. People were not allowed to get notes from their teachers for the longest time. And it was crazy to me. I was like, why can athletes leave for a week, but students can't? Like, students are trying to learn for tomorrow too. And so I wrote this really stern letter that's like a template letter that people could hand to professors on like that kind of philosophy, that if an athlete can leave for 5 days for a sporting game, why can't I leave for 7 days to learn how to launch a business? And so so now professors are very open to it, and so we do that program. As mentioned, we hire students across all of our corporate locations except for our general managers, and then at licensed locations, we really encourage hiring student employees. And then every month, and this is one of my favorite things, I send out a monthly leadership development email that talks nothing about Shake Smart. It's about the things you don't learn in the classroom. The importance of a credit score. What's the difference between a traditional 401k and a Roth? How to be organized, how to relieve stress, how to be a great leader. All these things that are super important for once you exit college that you're going to see in the real world. Specifically here at Cal State University San Marcos, in January of 2020, Sodexo had reached out to me about trying to open a store here. COVID paused things for that for a few years. And then thankfully to Deanne, she brought talks back to life. And upon her arrival here at Cal State San Marcos, we were able to get momentum going again. So then she connected me with Paul and the Sodexo team from the ops side to try and make that happen. And then from the construction side, Rajesh, Omar, and Thomas made the store come to life. This is a before and after. It was previously Starbucks, as many of you know, and now it's Shake Smart, and we really brought a lot of new brightness and light and energy to that space. And it's been extremely popular since opening, so it's been really exciting to see. We've definitely far exceeded the budget and expectations. So to kind of bring it all back to the beginning, what is Shake Smart? Sure, we do protein shakes and healthy foods. Sure, we have dietary restricted options. Sure, we give students job opportunities. We add profitability to campuses and all these different unique things. But I hope and believe what the most important thing that this brand does is I come to presentations like this and speak at San Diego State and other places is inspire students and other people that if you have an idea, you should chase it. Because even if it's as silly as I just want to create a protein shake, you never know how it can change, thousands of lives many years later and inspire other people to do, really great things for this great country we live in where you have the opportunity to start businesses and bring your ideas to life. So I thank you all for learning a little bit more about the brand, and I hope you all get a shake one day.
Thanks so much, Kevin. We can't wait to check out Shake Smart. I've already been there once. I'm going there again tomorrow. So, all right, next we're going to move on to our awards. If I could, I think my clicker's up front. All right, Leon, you go on ahead.
Okay, I went back to the paper. Went back to the paper.
Tried. Okay.
Okay, award time. So it's my pleasure to announce the 2 awardees for this year's MPP to Staff Awards. These awards provide FAS managers the opportunity to publicly recognize staff members for outstanding performance. So please join me in recognizing this year's award winners and honoring their remarkable contributions. The first MPP to Staff Award goes to Alexei Kirillov. I'd like to read Alexei's nomination to you. Alexei makes our department better every single day. His impact is not a one-time achievement, it's consistent excellence. When a key position became vacant this year, he didn't wait to be asked. He stepped in, absorbed workload, and ensured nothing slipped. Because of him, operations continued during a vulnerable time. That kind of ownership can't be assigned. It comes from character. He doesn't just complete work, he improves it. During a demanding audit project, Alexi rebuilt a time-intensive process by collaborating across campuses and rethinking how the work was done. The result, days of manual effort were eliminated, greater accuracy, and a sustainable model for future reporting. He turned a burden into a better system. During the transition to our new housing software, Alexi became the steady hand behind our reporting. He translated complex data into reliable audit work papers and clear information for stakeholders. His technical skill, precision, and calm communication made the transition seamless and strengthened confidence in our data. He is steady under pressure, generous with his expertise, and deeply invested in the success of the team. Colleagues trust him, they rely on him, they seek him out. Alexi strengthens our systems, supports his peers, and advances the university's mission in lasting ways. Please join me in congratulating Alexi.
Thank you so much.
Our second MPP to Staff Award goes to Mike Rosales. We just heard today that today is Mike's birthday, and he is on vacation. I don't blame him. Mitch has generously offered to accept this award on his behalf. Here's Mike's nomination. Mike consistently demonstrates exceptional troubleshooting abilities, resolving complex electrical issues efficiently and safely while minimizing operational disruptions. His strong time management skills allows him to balance competing priorities without compromising quality, making him a reliable resource for both planned work and urgent needs. During the admin HVAC project, Mike's dedication and attention to detail were especially evident. He provided critical electrical support, coordinated effectively with multiple trades, and ensured systems were installed correctly. His proactive approach helped identify potential issues, preventing delays and rework. Beyond his technical expertise, Mike is a respected leader. He sets high standards for workmanship, mentors others through clear communication and example, and takes pride in supporting the broader campus mission. Mike's professionalism and commitment make him truly deserving of this nomination. Please join me in congratulating Mike Rosales. And now, it's my privilege to present the CSUSM Vice President's Award, an honor that recognizes dedication, excellence, and meaningful contributions that strengthen our university community. Today, we are proud to recognize a team whose impact is felt across every corner of our campus, our grounds and custodial team. Each day, you help create a campus environment that is clean, welcoming, and inspiring. Oops. Because of your work, students can focus on their studies, faculty can teach with pride, and our entire community can gather in spaces that feel cared for and respected. What you do goes far beyond keeping our campus looking its best. You shape the daily experience of everyone who walks through CSUSM. You contribute to a sense of belonging and pride. You help this university not just a place we attend to or work, but a place we truly value. Your dedication, attention to detail, and commitment to excellence do not go unnoticed. Even when your work happens quietly in the background, Its impact is seen and appreciated every single day. This award recognizes not only your contributions, but the care and pride you bring to your work and to this campus community. On behalf of CSUSM, thank you for everything you do and the difference you make. Can everyone on our custodial and grounds team please come up so that we can recognize and congratulate you? Come on. Come on.
All right, thanks so much, Leon. And before we do our raffle, we actually have a guest appearance from President Neufeld, who's going to join us in the front just to say hi.
It's always wonderful to have President Neufeld come and just make a few remarks.
Oh, thank you. How are you? Woo! Oh my gosh. I came in just in time to see the Vice President's Award, and I have to say, I just couldn't think of a better recipient than our custodial grounds. My very first day, which was almost 7 years ago, July 1st, and I know Mark knows this, my very first visit on the campus was over at facilities. And just to see the love and care that you represented for the entire campus, I felt that day. You showed me on my very first day who Cal State San Marcos was. And that just means so much. And well, I love our custodial and grounds friends. That's what so many of you, well, so many, like who am I leaving out, Leon? That's what all of you do each and every day for the university. Here it is, spring break, and we're here, right? Our students and our faculty, we wish them well. We're thrilled that they have this week. At the same time, all of the unsung heroes in this room are here making sure that we have a budget, that we have a room we can come in. Somebody made sure that these chairs were set up. We have, my computer works. Sometimes I think it doesn't, but that's usually user error. And I see that love, that special love that each of you gives in your own way. Whether that's making sure that we do things right and have a perfect audit, or whether somebody gets paid. Isn't that a big deal? Whether somebody gets paid. Or, as I remember during the pandemic when I would watch around, all my friends in, I know it's not called mail services, but I think of it like mail, sorry. But all across, you're the people that were here, are here, and are always here. The other thing that's so special that I'm always reminded of, and I was reminded of it last week, I was reminded of it because in the middle of the night, we needed to do a very big project for the university. It was a project that had to be done that way for safety, for the good of the campus, and our individuals from facilities and campus police made sure that it happened. They were there, that you were there, and made sure that it happened while many people were asleep at night, again, taking care of the campus in a special way when nobody was looking. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. I think really the Vice President of Admin and Finance should give all of you an award for showing the love and the care the way you do through your actions, through the way that you exhibit it each and every day through your actions. You're not standing at a podium or a microphone. If you want to, you can. But you are making sure that everything happens for the love of who we are and our students. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you, Leon, for letting me come this morning just to stop by to say thank you to each and every one of you, because you are all award winners. And I just want you to know how much I appreciate what you do. So thank you so much. And I think I'm standing between you and free prizes with the raffle. So thanks for letting me interrupt this program, but thanks for letting me come by.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I love it. Thank you, President Neufeld. Thank you so much for coming and sharing with our group here. Right. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Shannon for our awards.
That's right. We're doing our raffle now, so get your tickets ready. All right. Okay. We're going to choose 5. All right, first one. 835671. Woohoo! I think it's Brittany. Come on up. Okay. Next one, 615364. Anybody? 615364. Anyone? Okay, we're going to go to a next ticket. I'll do another pink one. 615376. Where'd everybody go? Okay, it might be SHS. They had to leave for a visit. Okay, I'll do another pink one because someone in pink has to win here. 615328. Yay! And if you get something in your bag that doesn't fit you, just let us know and we can exchange the size, okay? Okay, next thing. 835667. Yay! Thank you. 615304. Oh, yay! I think we have one left, right? Okay. Okay, this one I'm just going to not look. Okay. 615311. Okay. Well, thank you everyone for being here today. Have a wonderful rest of your week.